What for you, man? Like, talk to me just about like your how do you feel about where we are musically right now? Because I feel like we've had like a interesting year because, I feel like the Kendrick Drake thing kind of took over this year in terms of hip hop, at least. Right. And at least for me, as like a fan, I appreciated the fact people were like caring about bars again. You know what I mean? So there was that
was the positivity.
That was the positive.
It brought hip hop back to its essence.
It did. It also created like the civil war of hip hop.
Right. But I honestly, believe it or not, as much as I love the idea that happened, I wish it would have ended on a shaking hands, bygones be bygones, let them continue. Because that's the one thing about the hip-hop industry. Like, when you look at the LL and Kool Moe Dee beef all the way back in the day, those boys, after all of that, they came back and set an example of, like, this friendly competition. They both went at it. You know who won. This is what it is. And they kept moving on with their careers. And I think sometimes with this generation, we take things so emotionally personal to the point where it goes beyond the competition on wax that it can easily like kind of easily spill over into some real live beef. And I just think that we got to we have to change that tone of it.
Yeah, I think too. Like with this like new landscape of fans and the internet.
Right.
Like now fans are emboldened. They're trying to expose artists.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Dropping locations.
Oh, my goodness. It's that crazy. Man, listen, the vibration of what music is just, it's so negative right now. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it, honestly, I would kind of give my generation, I would say we're partly responsible for that too.
Why is that?
You know what I mean? Because I think it was a different step. Like the hip hop generation that we came up on, like the African Bombadas and all them, like they always spoke on positive messaging. It was always party. If it was something that kind of like scrubbed the edge of content, it was always about something political that was going on in our neighborhoods
that we want to speak out about. Something like that, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then later, when our generation came, then, gangster rap kind of opened the door up for a different era of music where street crimes and street, you could say politics became something to brag about.
Yeah,
it became something that you needed to be attached to make it in hip hop to be relevant, or even to be heard, or even to be looked at as somebody official. So then what happened was this new generation took that and really felt like they can glorify being gangster or glorify getting shot versus shooting, to the point where you can't be a rapper unless you got, or you've been locked up, or you've been shot, or you done shot at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Almost like that becomes your calling card or your backstage pass to become a part of the entertainment.
Yeah, and I always say this too, like it kind of, fans become desensitized to when people die.
To the point where it's like, it's a part of it.
Well, they look at, I feel like they're looking at a lot of these kids as like characters in a TV show that they watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so if someone dies, they're like, I'm going to leave a comment.
Yeah.
I know who did it. Like it's ridiculous.
Crazy.
But you were kind of like the first R&B artist who came into the game talking that talk.
Right.
Like before you, I can't think of another artist who was singing that was, I mean, think about Locked Up. Like, what we're talking about. Your first single was talking about being incarcerated, which is a crazy thought to be like, I had a singing ass song with Styles P on it talking about being locked up, and that should change music for real.
Yeah, no, it really did. And I think because at the time when I came, R&B was really more about begging and love making and
being a simp.
Very, very simp.
And you also kind of came in when the R&B group was very popping still.
Yeah, it was
Jagged
like
Edge.
You had a lot of boy bands out there.
112
and all that. And then on the other side, you had the NSYNCs and the Backstreet Boys and all of that stuff. So, yeah, we kind of was the balance, because everything was really a lot of happy-go-lucky R&B type of stuff.
Right.
Whereas that was a whole struggle that was being talked about on my album that was just in an R&B form, but lyrically just didn't match.
Yeah.